Welcome to Beyond the Balance Sheet, the podcast where we unravel the intricate tapestry of financial operations within GMP and share the untold stories, processes, and systems that lie beneath the surface. I'm your host, Justin McKinney, and together we'll embark on a journey that goes far beyond the numbers and spreadsheets. Each episode of Beyond the Balance Sheet features engaging conversations with GMP thought leaders or partners on key topics designed to broaden your knowledge and perspective into the final workings of GMP and your client financials. Today's topic is the payables process here at GMP. Our guest today is Matt DeLeon from Team Accounting.
Hi, Justin. Thanks for having me. My role on the accounting team is to help process payments for our client teams. This includes the money our client team owes to vendors and suppliers and supporting the rest of the accounting team in any way possible.
It's great to have you here, Matt. Let's go ahead and start talking about the process. To kick things off, why don't you talk a little bit about domestic payments?
Sure, Justin. For domestic payments, the first thing we need to do is set up the vendor and concur. To get the vendor set up, we need to email the accounting specialist the vendor information, usually in the form of a W-9 form, which is also used for tax reporting purposes. If you have any ACH banking information on the vendor, you can also include this in your email to the accounting specialist. Once the vendor is set up, the invoice can be emailed to Concur at the client-specific capture address. Concur will then verify the invoice, assign it to a client team, assign it to a vendor, and give it an amount. After the verification process is complete, the invoice will be available for the executive director to assign a GL code and submit the invoice.
Okay, so what's the next piece in that approval process?
The invoice will then go through a process of approvals depending on the amount of the invoice. There's a hierarchy of approvals that is set up for each client team based on the dollar amount. Several client teams have multiple approval levels.
Okay, can you kind of dig a little bit deeper into those multiple approval levels for us?
Certainly, each association's approval levels can vary, but let's go through one example. Let's say that the invoice may begin with the executive director, who may have an approval limit up to $1,000. Anything over $1,000 would then go to the treasurer, who might have an approval limit up to $2,000. Anything over $2,000 would then go to the president of the association. Once all approvals have been obtained, it will go to the GMP Finance Department for final approval.
Okay, so then once it's gotten that final approval in Concur, what's the next step?
Once the invoice has received final approval in Concur, Concur will then begin processing payment for it. If the payment method is set up to be ACH, the vendor should receive the payment in about 7 days. If the payment is set up to be check, it takes about 3 days for the check to be processed and then mailed out.
So if you're doing ACH, you've got about 7 days, and it's an electronic payment. If you do check, it's about 3 days before the check's mailed, but then you're at the mercy of the postal service, and then you still have to wait for the person to receive it to cash it before you see that. Was that correct?
Correct.
Okay. So what are the benefits of using Concur?
Yeah, there are several benefits. First, the invoices are stored in Concur, providing a good reference to check if invoices are paid and to track where the invoices are in the process. Second, the invoice is coded to the proper GL account, ensuring accurate financial statements. Third, Concur allows for a hierarchy of approvals, ensuring the appropriate individuals receive and approve the invoices before the payment is made. Lastly, there's an automated connection between Concur and NetSuite, which creates journal entries of Concur transactions into NetSuite, reducing the amount of manual work for the accounting team.
That's very helpful. And I can tell you, as one of the members of the accounting team, that I've had to go back and look for copies of invoices. I've had to double check GL accounts, and I love that I don't have to do those manual journal entries. So it's very, very helpful. I know we also send some payments internationally. We've got a few organizations that do that. It looks like there's going to be a new process compared to what we've been doing for international wires. What's that new process going to look like?
Yes, as you know, international payments are sent via wire. The new wire process will now incorporate Concur in order to give EDs better tracking of their payments and allows for the approval of payments to be done in Concur. The first step should be emailing the W-8 and completed wire form to the accounting specialist so that a vendor can be set up and concur. The second step would be to send the invoice or a payment request form to concur to the concur capture address. The ED will then code and submit the invoice for approval, very similar to domestic payments. If the amount on the invoice that you receive is not clear, you should complete a payment request form and send that to concur with the invoice. Once all the approvals have taken place, the accounting specialist will then process the payment through the bank, which is our bank is Bremer Bank. And it's important to note the actual wire payment itself will still be processed through the bank. It will not be done at Concur. Concur does not send wire payments out. When the wire has been given final approval in Concur, the status will be updated to extracted. It will not say paid because, as I just mentioned, Concur is not actually making that payment.
Great. Thank you for that explanation. So when does this new international payment process begin?
The new process will begin June 1st. So any wired payments after June 1st, you should begin sending to Concur for that process.
Okay. Any other final thoughts or items to consider about the payables process?
Yeah, I'd say it's important to ensure you have sufficient funds in your checking account before initiating a payment. If you need to transfer funds from a savings or investment account, do that before submitting the payment for processing. Also, make sure you have all the proper documentation like W-9 or W-8 forms, ACH forms, and then notify your treasurer about any approvals coming their way so they can expedite the process. And the accounting team is a great resource, so feel free to engage with us, and we're here to help.
That's great advice, Matt. Well, we hope this podcast has provided everyone with new information and, excuse me, valuable insights on the payables process here at GMP. Just as a reminder, that new international payment process starts on June 1st. So if you have questions between now and then, make sure to reach out to your lead accountant or to Matt for clarification on that process. We appreciate everyone taking their time and thank you very much for joining us, Matt.
Thank you, Justin. It's been a pleasure.